This video explains how to optimize A+ content and a brand story for SEO purposes. This is for VAs or those that are conducting optimization work on the listing, as opposed to the actual creative work which will be completed by a designer. So we don't need to worry about actually creating the content, luckily. We're just going to see how we can optimize this just to improve our organic rank and increase our sales. So these are the two areas we're going to be looking at: is the description and a brand story if the product has it. So here's the brand story. The first bit we're going to cover is the brand story, which is very simple. I want you to make sure that any links in here are actually working. So for example, this one, visit the store, is not working. So we need to address that and go in and optimize the links, make sure they are actually linked up to where they need to go. The second part is actually adding alt text and keywords behind each of these images, so that these images, all of these texts or these words in here, they don't actually rank in Amazon's algorithm. They just they're seen as an image. It's not shown as text. We need to go behind these images and update them. It's almost like they're back-end keywords for each particular picture. So let's go and have a look at doing that. So if you go down to advertising and then A+ content manager, here's where you can actually optimize them. And we'll start with adding the keywords. So if we click on one of them, click edit, and here you can see the images. Okay. What I would actually like to see in here is some text in between each one, because that would start to rank the products. They would be eligible for SEO purposes if we actually write some text in there, but we don't need to worry about that for the purpose of this video because they just want to have the images here. All we need to do is click edit, and then here you can see the back-end images. You get 100 characters, and this one is just using 46 of those. It's done quite poorly, this one. It's got the brand name in there. We don't necessarily need that because that's been well utilized throughout the rest of the listing. This one, it should be soundproofing. There's already a spelling mistake in there. Sound reduction on acoustic. So sound has been used twice. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to use individual keywords. Now, I would suggest, if you haven't done so already, go and check out the keyword research section of our intranet. You can see that under conversions and then keyword research. This has all of the videos you'll need for keyword research. You can see we've got quite a few in there. If you have conducted that, the area that we need to use is the word cloud to word frequency here. So we need to copy all of these that are relevant, or we can go through the search terms and start copying those and adding them in. Then we simply copy the relevant words into this area, separating each of them by a comma. So just like that. And then you add your next one. We don't need to worry about full sentences. It's just keywords separated by a comma. Now, it's worth noting that we've got all of these images and there's no need to duplicate keywords. Okay, so you can see that they've used the same ones here. We would need to use a different selection of the keywords. So for example, if you've used the first 5 or 10 of these, then you go through the rest until you've used up all of the keywords. The same can be said if you're going to use the keyword phrases there. So just make sure you use a selection of the keywords so that we can add text behind each one of these. You don't need to duplicate words on any of them. So always need to have separate words and make sure we're maxing out the allowance here. So again, this one just has the decibel, which is the product name. That is utilized throughout the listing. So we don't need to duplicate things that are present in things like the title and in the description of the product, because that's going to rank higher perhaps than the A+ content. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You simply just need to go in here and add the alt text, add the keywords behind each of the images to make sure they rank. Okay, so the last one we need to do is actually make sure that the brand story is linking correctly to each one of the pages. So again, we're just going to click edit. And so visit the storefront. So they've just done that as part of the image. It's not actually as part, it doesn't have a button. So that's perhaps something that could be fed back to the designer for that to be updated. So we perhaps need to take that out and then add it into somewhere we can add it as an image. So the main job here, as somebody that's looking to optimize the listing, is identifying things that perhaps the designer's done, but it doesn't actually link to the product page. So we can't do it on this occasion because it's part of an image, but if you can just highlight it to the designer, then they can potentially change that, or we can link it to a particular product within the A+ content.